everyone. Thank you for joining me on another interesting and exciting episode of Bookish Reflections. I am pretty much uh, happy that this is my first episode this year, and I'm looking forward to bringing you more bookish content, more exciting content. So, if you are just joining me for the first time, I'm very grateful. Thank you. And if you are a returning viewer and someone who has kept up with all my content, thank you so very much. And if you're new here, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button, like this video, and share. So, this episode, I want to talk about something that I know has been on the mind of many people, or some people have thought about it, they don't know how to go about it. So, basically, I want to talk about reading resolutions, and that is strategies for how you can achieve your reading goals, smash those goals, and make sure you achieve your reading target. Every year, everybody comes up with one resolution or the other. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and very few or some people do not achieve what they set out to achieve, while others do. But in terms of reading, many people set goals. I want to be a better reader, I want to be able to explore more literature, and somewhere along the line, before the year runs out, they just slag off and make another resolution the next year, and the same cycle goes again. So I just want to talk about some of the strategies that I have adopted in achieving my reading goals, and I believe they work, and they have worked for many other readers like myself, because I have had to interact with other readers to find out what or how they are able to achieve the goals that they set for themselves, and many of them have given very, very interesting advice. And then there's something I have always preached as a person that has always been campaigning for reading, and that is the 3 Ds. I call them the 3 Ds of reading. I believe that anybody who can put those 3 things to practice can be an accomplished reader. I wasn't a born reader. I keep telling people that I wasn't born with the flair for reading. I wasn't born with the desire to read like that. Of course, I knew I had to read in school, but it wasn't something that I think I had a genuine passion for. But when I began to see the importance of it and the necessity of it, I had to take steps by myself, and of course I'll be sharing some of those steps with you. So yeah, I was talking about the 3 Ds of reading and how important they are in helping you become the reader that you want to be, or that you envision yourself becoming, later in the future. The first one I always tell people is determination. I think for me, I determined in myself that I was going to start reading. And this was as a result of the fact that I was in the university environment, and I kept meeting very intelligent, brilliant minds. I mean, I would be in a conversation with people and just discover that, wow, I'm lost, because these people are just talking, they're talking so much sense, and I didn't feel like I had the level of knowledge these people had, in that certain conversation. And I remember walking up to one of my friends and saying, I feel like I'm deficient, like I need to I need to read more. I think I need to take in more in terms of going out there, seeking information, becoming better, being able to contribute intelligently to conversations around me, especially in the society. And I felt that deficiency was too obvious, and so this friend decided to take me on a journey, and that was how my reading began, and that was how I really, really started to read. Although even before I got to university, I was trying to get into the reading thing, because my younger sister was the reader in the house, and my mom would always flood the house with books. So I wouldn't say that I didn't grow up in an environment where books were not a thing, but it wasn't just something I saw as the most important thing to do. I didn't give it all the attention that I give to it now. And so I started reading more by the time I got into the university and began to interact with people. But I think when I look back, it was the determination that I had that really changed everything. And one of the things that I did in my determination to be a better reader, to gain more knowledge, to be more exposed, was to ask my friend to help me get a book every month. So I would send he would call me and tell me, oh, I think you might like this book. Or if I find myself searching for information about a particular subject area, and then I call and say, oh, if you wouldn't mind, would you look for a book that can answer my questions in this area? And he would just willingly, let me know about such books. And that was how it started. I started buying a book every month, one book every month. It didn't matter if I hadn't finished the one I bought the previous month. I just made sure that when I had my allowance or any money that got into my hands, I would always remove something for books. And that was how my library basically began, and that was how my reading journey began. So determination is something that I must talk about. You have to make up your mind and tell yourself, this is something that I want to do. I have realized that many people are wishful readers. I have met them. In fact, they outnumber people. I think they outnumber readers. Oh, and I would have loved to read. I just love people that read. Oh, I would love to be a reader. And that's where it stops. And really, it can be very tiring, because I always tell myself, if I want to do something, if I really, really want to do something, I definitely will. And so there are so many people who are wishful readers, who like the idea of reading, but do not go beyond wishing. I wish I could get more time to read. Oh, I wish I could read more. And then I always ask them, why don't you read? If it's something you want to do or you wish you could do, like, why don't you actually start it? Because at the end of the day, I have also come to conclude that you will read if you want to read, because we do things we want to do. You eat because you want to eat. Sometimes you have to eat. There are so many things you do because you want to do it. So reading should be something that you want to do, you really desire to do, and then you get out of yourself and do it. And that determination is really, really important. You need to determine that you want to read. Now to the second D. I have said that there are 3 Ds. Now I'm going to the second D, and that is diligence. I remember starting out in my reading journey, I would make sure that I try to read every week. I wasn't really into the daily thing. Like I said, it's a climb. Or I don't think I have said it, but let me say it now. Reading is a climb. You don't just get there all of a sudden. It's a culture that you have to build. It was a culture that I had to build. Some people are naturally inclined to reading. It's something they just naturally love. But for some of us, it was a culture that we had to learn, a habit we had to instill in ourselves. So the part of diligence, doing this thing constantly, the not missing it, not postponing or procrastinating reading, but just giving it your all and diligently following. It could be a schedule. I'm going to talk about that later, but diligence is very important if you want to really be the reader that you desire, or the reader that you think you can be. So determination, I have said earlier, and of course the second one, diligence. You can't throw diligence away. Anything you want to become a master of is something you have to practice and do daily and do constantly. Something that you have to pay attention to without necessarily putting it off. What I have discovered with people who say they want to read and really aren't reading is they keep putting it off. Oh, I'll read tomorrow, I'll read next week, I'll try to read during the weekend. And I'm like, why can't you read today? I mean, if you can give reading at least 10-15 minutes every day and you stick to it, I can assure you that you will see a rapid bounce in your reading. If you can make sure that you do not miss out in a day or in a week, or if you say in a week you want to read an hour every week or 2 hours, depending on how you are able to fit reading into your schedule, and you stick with it and you keep at it, you will discover that it becomes a part of you. And then the road to your reading journey is just going to be, when I say a breeze, but it's going to be fun, really, because you'll begin to evolve and become that reader that you want to be. Now, the third D, which is another thing, and I think it's an area that many people are lacking and many people would not like to hear, it is discipline. Many of us are so indisciplined, and reading takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of concentration. Treasure Thoughts Academy that I run, I have for children, I have for teenagers, and then I have for the adults. And I realized that the readers that stand out in all of these sections, whether it's the children's section or the teenagers section or the adult section, are those that have been able to get some form of discipline. And I personally can talk about discipline because I have tried it myself. And what discipline does is that even when you don't feel like it, or when it's like reading becomes something you should do, you've taken it up as a responsibility, and then you diligently follow it up and discipline yourself. Discipline involves like cutting away some distractions, putting them aside, putting off the TV for a while, doing away with your phone for a while, switching off your data for a while, finding yourself a reading corner and just take a book and read. Discipline would involve you cutting yourself off from some certain things that could have taken your reading time. I used to tell people that sometimes it could be your lunch hour. You have an hour in the office to have lunch, and you decide, I can't eat for a whole hour, so let me say out of my lunch hour, 30 minutes every lunch hour I will devote it to reading. And you stick to it. You discipline yourself to ensure that you don't joke with that time you have set for reading. You discover that it becomes a part of you. Discipline is very difficult for many people because we like to indulge, and reading sometimes, to become a reader, you might need to cut off some stuffs. Sometimes you don't go for the owambears or the parties. You just, especially when they're not necessary, you just sit back and read. And let me just say this, not just reading for pleasure, even students, or as a teacher myself, as a professional teacher, it's something I fight my students over. The lack of discipline in studying. I believe that many students would be better, or would be faring better, if they discipline themselves to having study times, to having and times where they devote to reading. And so even when it comes to reading other things, whether you're reading a non-fiction or fiction, or you're just reading wide, discipline is very, very important, and it's lacking. Many of us aren't disciplined, and then because of that we fall short. And even for readers who are already readers, like they love to read and they give themselves, this year I'm going to do 50 books, I'm going to do 60 books, and they are not disciplined enough to stick to a particular regimen, schedule, or whatever, they will fall short of achieving their goals. And discipline cannot be overemphasized. So the 3 Ds again: determination, diligence, discipline. If you have those 3 things, I can assure you that 2022, whatever reading goal you set for yourself, you will be able to achieve it. Now I'm going to just quickly run through some of the things I have noted here, so that you can evolve into the reader that you really want to be. And probably, or not probably, I don't want you to probably, I want you to achieve your reading goals this year. I want you to ensure that whatever goals you set for yourself in terms of reading, you achieve them. Please and please, dear viewers, do not underestimate the power of a schedule. I have seen it work for me. A schedule is important. Schedule your reading. Write it down. Or if you have a schedule, an app that can help you, I have Google Task on my phone. Very simple to use. Just schedule reading. Okay, I should be reading at this time or so time, and then stick to it. That's where the discipline comes in. The discipline will push you to schedule and to stick with it. So I always tell those who are always, I'm busy with work, even if it is 10 minutes before bedtime or 15 minutes before bedtime, and you do this every day of the week, at least you will finish a book in a month. Well, depending on the size of the book. So please try as much as possible to ensure that you put reading in your schedule. It means you take it as important, and it means you really want to do it. So get a schedule and have reading scheduled every time on your list of tasks, or whatever you want to accomplish for the day. Also, I cannot overemphasize this because I think it's very important, and it's something that helped me. Yes, it helped me. In fact, if you remember what I said at the beginning of this video, I said that my friends the company I surrounded myself with, they were really, really helpful in bringing me into the reading culture, like really, really taking me through, because they were readers themselves. And I realized that really your friends rub off on you. So look for friends who read and try to uh, find that kind of company. And where else? A book club is one of the most important places where you'll find readers. I run a book club, and I know that before I started my book club, I had, participated in other book clubs, and it's a beautiful atmosphere where you just meet other readers, talk about the book, fight about the book, gist about the book, come up with various conclusions after reading the book, become more enlightened, and it feels like you're not alone. Sometimes reading can also bring about shared experiences, because people talk about their personal experiences in relation with the book, and you find yourself also being in some form of therapy. That's what being amongst bookish people can actually achieve. So yes, let me go back again to tell you that your friends, your company is important. Find a company of readers, and one of the best places to find a company of readers is to be in a book club. Get yourself involved in a book club. Make sure you read the book of the month, whatever it is they are reading. You will find yourself as a reader. You'll begin to enjoy certain genres. You find yourself, oh, I think I like romance more, or I think I like crime or thrillers more, I think I like this more, and you begin to find yourself in the reading sphere, in the reading community. So join a book club is really, really helpful. They ginger you to read. When everybody's talking about the book, you also want to be part of the discussion. So join a book club. My book club is open to join. For adults only book club, you can join me and just enjoy the company of other readers. Okay, I wrote down here so that I don't forget, is the need for having apps that can help and motivate you to read. But apps are they're in abundance, especially when it comes to reading. And one app I know I do use, I don't joke with it, is Goodreads, because that's the largest online community of readers, I think, in the world. Goodreads is a place where you meet other readers, see what other people are reading, gives you book recommendations, helps you to monitor your reading growth, your reading progress. You can track your reading with Goodreads and all of that. Well, if you are the kind of person who also wants to read, ebooks, you want to have access to ebooks probably on your phone. You might not have the patience for holding hardcover books. Like I still do my hardcovers, even though sometimes I do the ebooks. There are many apps that you can use to read books. We have the popular Okada books here in Nigeria. We have Kobo books. We have Script. Yes, there are many. There's so many where you get updates on latest books, what is happening in the book world, who is writing what, and who are those reading what, and what people think about books through ratings. And so being in that community, even in social media, Bookstagram, Book Twitter, I'm always on Bookstagram to see what's the next best thing happening in the book world, who is writing what, and what people are saying about a particular book. They also guide my choices when I go to the bookstore to pick a book. I'm like, okay, this book has been trending. People seem to like it. What do they like about it? Is it something I would love? So it's a good way, or it's a good place where of finding book recommendations, and also, spurring you on. Let me use a Nigerian word to ginger you on, and push you to, becoming that reader that you really want to be. So Bookstagram, there's so many people I follow on Instagram that, inform my reading. So you can also go on Instagram, go on Twitter, and you'll find many book lovers, and they can actually encourage you to read. So for those that might be looking for audiobooks, Audible is one of the best apps for audios, but I think Script has audiobooks too. So if you think you might not have the patience to sit down with a book for long hours and read, so you can do the audiobooks. Audiobooks are the in thing now. You can read while driving, and don't let anybody fool you. Audiobooks are books. All right, for someone like me, I'm an easily distracted reader, so I do audiobooks with the book. Yes, I do audiobooks with the book. I like to still hold the book in my hand. So you can if you feel audiobooks will work better for you, get an Audible and get the books on Audible that you would like to listen to. I know my younger sister is more into audiobooks and it's helping her. Her schedule might not allow her to sit for a book reading for a long time. So just while she's in her car and she's listening, so you can do the same on your way to work. Rather than listen to people argue over the government and all of that, you can actually plug your ears and listen to a book. So reading is not as hard as you think it is. It just deserves discipline, diligence, and determination. If you can put these 3 days to practice, I can assure you that your reading is going to get better. Not only that, surround yourself with bookish people who love to read. They will spur you on. They will ginger you to read more. Join a book club. My book club is open. Just send me a message. My email will be scrolling down where you can interact with me via email if you want to be a part of it. And then I can put you through and you can join us and read with us. Also get apps that can help you. Apps are very important. Social media can also be very, very important too in helping build you to become a reader. And for those of you who are readers but you're not yet hitting your reading goals, this year you have to be more disciplined. All right, you have to stay on course. Schedule your reading, do more. If you have been doing 10 pages per day, probably it's time to up your game to 20 pages per day. That's another way you can plan your reading. So I usually tell my book club members it could be 5 pages every day till you finish the book. And so you discover that if you can just stick with it, put the necessary effort and do what you feel works for you, because what might work for me might not work for you. So find out what works for you. But these are just my recommendations, but you can find out what works for you, and I can assure you that you can smash all those reading goals that you have set for yourself. So I want to say thank you for listening. Yes, you can follow me on all my social media platforms. On Instagram, I am at Onome Onwa, and on Twitter, I am at Bookish Reflect, and on Facebook, I'm just Onome Onwa. You can find me on any of all of these social media platforms. And my book club is actually on Instagram as FAO Book Club. So just check out FAO Book Club and see what we are all about. You can join us, send us a message, and we'll be sure to respond. Thank you for staying with me till the end of this episode. If you have questions that you would like me to answer and you would like to ask me, so please just send them on the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them the best way that I can. Thank you once again. I hope you had a good time. February is almost here, so we're expecting something else. The book I'll be discussing, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And of course, I'll have a guest with me. So be sure to click on that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that you are kept abreast of everything that happens on Bookish Reflections. Please share this channel with your friends, especially friends love books and want to become readers. Those who desire to become, not those wishful readers. Probably I will be the ginger for them and they are able to find their fate. So thank you so much. I've had a good time. I've had a good time sharing my experience with you. If you also had a very, very interesting experience in your reading journey, please feel free to comment and let me know how it was for you. Thank you so very much for listening. See you next month. Bye.